No. A few days have passed again. Actually, this time at our house. I awakened in my own bed today. Yuri and I didn't read together last night, so she's still at her house. In fact, we haven't talked much this past week after I told her I'm taking her to a doctor. Yuri sees herself as some sort of freak, and I'm sure taking her to a psychiatrist probably doesn't help that image. Nevertheless, this is important. I text Yuri to remind her that after school we're meeting the psychiatrist. I look outside my window. It's a bit foggy, but that's not going to stop me. I continue my boring morning routine of showering, brushing my teeth, and getting dressed. What to eat, what to eat. I repeatedly open and close different cabinets, lowering my standards with each one. Cereal it is. I grab a bowl and pour myself some cereal. I then open the fridge. No. I'm out of milk. This has got to be the worst day of my life. Maybe I can find a substitute. I look through the shelves of my fridge. I pull out a jug of orange juice. I glance at the bowl of dry cereal. Then at the orange juice. Then back at the bowl. Lord forgive me, for I am about to sin. It's gonna be fine. I know people eat cereal with like water. Last class of the day, and it's almost over. I stare blankly at the clock, watching the seconds tick away. Why is the literature club music playing here when they're not doing anything related to the literature club? The theme has such a the music, the way it's placed and the way it's used in the main game was very important. So it feels kind of off for me to hear the theme literally called Doki Doki Literature Club play in a manner where there is no relation to the literature club. Anyway, we're watching the seconds tick away. The teacher said something or other about World War II. I don't need to know history. I have my future all figured out. Knowing history is important. I'm going to write a song and become a famous musician. I already have the first line down. Interesting. So we gave that. Gucci, no. I guess I'll just repeat that line a dozen more times and call it music. The bell rings. Appears the school day is over. I told you to meet her in the front of the school. I take a shortcut through the courtyard so I can meet up with Yuri. My mind is going a mile a minute right now. I have no idea what will happen when I bring Yuri to this doctor. John! It's the sound of my name coming from an all too familiar voice. I turn to see who the person is. Oh no. Hiya, John! Hey, Monica. Where are you going? Home. Oh, same. Well, if you don't have any plans, then you wouldn't mind walking me home. I stand there, dumbfounded. Why would Monica all of a sudden want to walk home together when we haven't even spoken in a month? And it's not like we left on good terms, either. I'm actually about to go somewhere. You said you were heading home. You wouldn't lie to me, would you, John? No, it's just that I look around for an escape route. In the distance, I see a tall purple figure near the gates of the stool. I look back at Monica. Her eyes follow mine and she also spots the purple figure. Oh no, bad Monica is not going to like that. I see. Monica, I didn't mean to lie to you. I'm sure you didn't, John. I'll go ahead and let you walk home. Bye. Monica trots off. With another thought, I make a break towards the gate. I'm here. There you are. I was getting worried. Sorry if I made you wait. I got caught up trying to take a shortcut. Take a shortcut. I guess it turned into a long cut, huh? I let an awkward laugh, but Yuri still retains her nervous expression. Perhaps long cut wasn't very good word choice. Yeah, that's. I was already a bit concerned. It sounded a bit weird. I take her hand and hold it softly in mine. Yuri, look at me. It's gonna be okay, I promise. Yuri slowly nods. Alright, here it is. I look at the clock above the doorway. Right on time too. The doctor should be out here any second. As soon as I finish my sentence, a man walks out of the office door. He's an older gentleman with black hair that has started to gray. He wears an outfit you'd see in one of those fancy, expensive magazines. Nice dress shoes, a pristine three-piece suit and tie, and even a gold watch. I'm struggling with my voice as always. Dr. Peter Langton, psychiatrist. It's a pleasure to meet you. He shakes my hand. You must be John, correct? Yes, sir, and this is Yuri. He holds out his hand to Yuri. Well, this is awkward. After a few seconds, Dr. Langton lowers his hand. That's fine. It's okay to be nervous around the doctor, I know. But I want you to know that there is nothing to fear. This is a safe place. Meh. Too many bad experiences with psychiatrists. Not really a safe, judgment-free place as it has been told to me, and as I was hoping it to be. He raises his arm as if to display his office. So how about we step through the door and begin the session? Alright, let's go. Oh, I'm sorry, sir, but for now I wish to only speak to the young lady here. What? Really? It is for now. Perhaps in later sessions you can join in, but for the first time it's better to be one-on-one. I decide not to argue. Okay, I'll wait here. Thank you for your understanding. He turns to Yuri, who hasn't spoken a word since we arrived. Shall we step inside? Dog, you mind if I talk to her in private for a second? Not at all. Take your time. I'll be in the office for whenever you're ready. Dog of all things. He steps back into his office and closes the door. What are you thinking right now? I can't do this. Don't say that. I put my hands on her shoulders. Listen to me. You're a strong girl. You can get through this. And I'll be right here waiting the entire time. Dr. Langton only wants to help you. But I need you to cooperate. If not for him or for you, then for me. Yuri stares blankly at me. Okay. I'll do my best. That's all I ask. I give her a hug and she steps into the office. I guess I'll just sit here then. We're gonna get another weird message. I take a seat and look around. The waiting room is full of motivational posters, pictures, and other stupid stuff. I look at the wall next to me. The certificate goes out to Dr. Peter Langton, blah blah blah, Stanford University, blah blah blah. What? Where are we? Seems this guy really knows his stuff. This is perfect. For the first time in a month, I think I can finally relax. I'm finally getting Yuri the help she needs. And yeah, we got it. What the? I pulled my phone to see I received a text from an unnamed number. I'm assuming it's Monica, so I will go with that for now. He can't protect her forever. What the hell? This is the same person from a few weeks ago. What could they possibly want? Don't worry. Once she's gone, we won't have to worry about her. It's not like anyone would care. This has gone too far. I fiercely type back a response. Listen, I don't know who you are, but if you don't stop texting this number, you will have some serious problems. You shouldn't threaten someone when you know you can't back up anything you say, John. This person knows my name. My hands are shaking intensely. Who is this? He will know soon enough, or maybe it's someone else, I don't know. I shut off my phone to prevent any more messages. Who is this person? The only person I can think of who has my number is Sayori. If this is Sayori, then oof. Then that's... I mean, Sayori was already a little bit mischaracterized, but that would go into a very, very... Dr. Langton and Yuri walk out of the office. Pushing aside my thoughts, I stand up to talk to him. Give it to me straight, Doc. Your friend is in good health. I look at him quizzically. Really? Yes, she has a common case of social anxiety. It's fairly common. Nothing to get too worked over. Perhaps we can schedule another meeting so I can learn more. So what do we do? There are cases where, with age, the anxiety eventually fades away. There are also therapies and medical professionals such as myself that are willing to help. Simple as that? Simple as that. Like, even in the cases where it wasn't that the therapist was a piece of shit, from what I've noticed, the medical field, at least where the current I am, those that my friends went through, they had, no matter what education they had, they were miserable at doing anything. I mean, maybe with just quote unquote just social anxiety, they could have helped, but I feel like they still weren't qualified if they really, like, for what they presented themselves to be, they definitely weren't qualified. He gives me a reassuring smile. Thanks, Doc. And what about her, you know? Know what? I look over at Yuri, who is standing awkwardly at the door. She didn't tell him about her cutting. Doc, what exactly did you talk about? I'm sorry, but that's private information that I'm not allowed to disclose. Patient confidentiality. Yeah, I've also had therapists who absolutely did not care about that. You shouldn't be. It's probably for the best. To finally be able to have some privacy and someone who takes that seriously. There's an annoyed pitch to my voice when I recite that term to him. Of course, if she chooses to confide information to you, that's her choice. Thanks, Doc. My pleasure. I give him one last handshake and escort Yuri out the building. The rest of the walk home is quiet. Neither of us choose to talk to each other. I can't believe I did all this effort to help Yuri and she does this. Hey, she can't even tell someone what's wrong with her. Of course, that's difficult. I need to calm down. It's not her fault. I should have been aware that this would happen. I shouldn't have forced her to see a psychiatrist. At least you realize that it's probably not the best idea. This was not her house. Right? We walk into the house and Yuri takes a seat on the couch. I stand awkwardly before taking a seat next to her. I have to apologize. Yuri, I'm sorry. She buries her face in her hands and begins to cry. I disappointed you, just like I did with everyone else. I place my arm around her. No, Yuri, I failed you. I should have known better than to force you into something like that. She lifts her head and stares at me. Her lavender eyes are puffy with tears. No, you were right to help me. I want to go back. Can you schedule another appointment? I'm taken aback. Really? I know this is what's best for me. And if you're by my side, I think I can get through it. I'll always be by your side, Yuri. I take your hand and intertwine it with mine. Can you do me a favor, John? Of course. I don't know how to go about explaining everything to the doctor. Well, I'm all ears if you need me. Thank you. Yuri takes a moment to collect her thoughts, an action I see her do quite often. Put my water away. Do you know why I do it? I would guess in order to feel some sort of control of your emotions. You're not too far off. John, for all my life I've allowed people to be the glue, the stitches, and the bandages that hold me together. Every time they've reopened without fail. I was only a small girl when I first witnessed how unforgiving this world can be. My mother and father would argue non-stop. I was scared that one day they might even hurt each other. I used books as a coping mechanism. I would hope that I could drown out my own reality and enter a new one. Eventually, my dad left my mother and I, and my mom had to pick up an extra job to support us. Even with all this happening, I just continued to repress my feelings and read my books. That's how I live my life until... She pauses again to catch her breath and collect her thoughts. High school has been the worst years of my life. Everyone is so cruel and selfish. She stares deeply into my eyes. Or that's what I thought until I met you. But even so, the kids at school would always call me foul names or spread rumors about me. Boys would always pick on me or stare at me whenever I walk by or call me obscene names. She's starting to panic. I can see the fear in her eyes grow with each sentence. Yuri, I think we should stop here for now. No! I need to get this out. Please. Tears continue to glide down her cheeks. I slowly nod and allow her to continue. I didn't know any other way to get rid of the pain inside. There's no such thing as a cure for pain. I had to find a way to release it somehow. I try to understand what she's saying. So I was right. It's a coping mechanism. It was at first. At first? At first I was really scared. But that moment I first did it. Then the feeling of the knife splitting into my skin. The cold steel gliding along my arm. The beauty of the crimson streams flowing down my arms. It was exhilarating. What? It no longer became a way to deal with the pain. I had been seduced by it. I almost felt good to cut. I knew it was bad, but I couldn't stop myself. My mind was already lost. I wasn't strong enough to stop the urges. I'd get a feeling in my body I didn't understand, screaming at me to let go of everything I'm feeling. When I do it, it feels like I'm in my own world. It's the same feeling as when I'm reading a book, except the words are written in red, and the blade is my pen. But the book eventually ends. My arm could heal, and I could continue to relive that moment of true freedom continuously. This is worse than I thought. I always thought it was just a way for her to cope with life, but now I see it's more of some type of drug. I'm pretty sure it's not that uncommon, considering the support groups friends of mine went to about self-harm. This appears to be quite common, that it's more of like the endorphin rush is the main reason why they always keep coming back. Although I'm pretty sure still that she didn't start because she was sad, but rather just she had this curiosity in her because of her knife collection. She's formed an addiction to it. Self-harm is addictive. Yuri, this is a lot to take in, but I just want to say, I don't blame you. What? None of what happened is your fault. Generally, all addictions are not really anyone's fault. I wrap her hand in mine. We can't control what happens in our lives, and sometimes we can't control how we feel. Sometimes it feels as if there's a force stronger than us, pulling us and tempting us to do horrid things, like puppets attached to strings. I'll never understand what goes on inside your head, and I'm okay with that, because I still stand by my promise to never leave you. Together we can solve your problem. Another thought crosses my mind. Yuri, where do you get your knives? If you're referring to what I used to cut, I have a knife collection. A knife collection? I've been hiding it whenever you came over because I thought you would get mad and find it unlikable. In any other case, I would think a knife collection is cool. But for Yuri's sake, it's not good to have. Oh, I have someone who struggles with self-harm and has a knife collection. The knife collection itself is not the problem. Yuri, I'm sorry, but you have to get rid of your knives. No, that's not a good way to handle this. But... She thinks it over for a while. You're right. No, he's not. You don't have... That's not how it works. She doesn't have to let go of something she cherishes. She just needs... Because it's not going to exactly change anything at all about her feelings. I know it only adds to the temptation, but it's so hard. Not necessarily. Like, just taking away what they use to harm themselves is not gonna fix the problem at all. If anything, it's just gonna become a problem. I know it is, but trust me, if you really want to get better, the best thing to do is to throw away any temptation. Let's not learn to work with it. Let's just throw it away. Something you love. And hope that you feel better after it. It's like with alcohol, you can't just put away all of the alcohol, or even people who struggle with money because of their alcohol addiction will find a way to get back to it. It's not like it's not that simple as just throw away the knives. Promise me that you'll throw out your knife collection. Tears continued to pour. She's cried so much I'd have thought her tear ducts would be drained by now. She slams her head into my chest and continues to cry. I wrap my arms around her. It's alright, Yuri. I promise to never let anyone hurt you again. John, you've heard my story. You see now that I'm just a monster. I'm weak and can't control my emotions. I take all my pent-up feelings and release them onto my own skin. How can anyone think that's okay? No one can. She looks up at me, her soft eyes locked onto mine. Because it's not okay. But it's also not okay for me to sit idly by and let you continue to hurt yourself. That's why I'm not going to stop until you're better. I don't like that wording. But why? Because Yuri, everything around me becomes blurry. The only thing I see is her. Because I love you, Yuri. I said it. I said the word I would never believe would leave my mouth. Love. What an alien word to me. But it's the only word I can think of in this moment. I feel as everything that's happened this past month has been let out. I love you more than anything else in the world. And when you love someone, you don't give up. John, I love you too. You have arms around me and leans closer. Thank you. You can thank me once that collection is thrown away. No, that should be the least thing that is the least thing she should thank you for. I give her a quick smile, but she closes her eyes and continues to lean in. Oh, we got some... That's a video. We got some new art. I feel her lips press against mine. All my senses are immediately overwhelmed. The taste of vanilla on her lips, the faint scent of lavender in her hair, the sound of true ecstasy as my heart beats out of my chest. Her arms around me and mine around her. Everything else in the world has been drowned out. Every single thought that had stormed my mind has been calmed. It's just Yuri and me in this single moment in time. There's an odd feeling in my stomach. Perhaps it's butterflies? I can't describe it I can't describe it other than it's somewhat comforting. Like all my worries have been washed away. Yuri pulls away. What feels like eternity was only for a few seconds, but the feeling continues to stay. We sit in silence for a moment. I guess it's my turn to thank you. You can thank me if you schedule my next appointment with Dr. Langton. She throws me a soft smile, and for a moment I feel like everything will be alright. Greetings. I've decided to chime in here to talk about the self-harm and furthermore the knife collection. I don't think I've properly expressed my problem with it being removed. However, I think it's an important discussion to have, so if you don't care about this, I added chapters to this video so you can skip it if you don't care. Or like aren't interested in this. You see, I get the idea the MC had, but I think it's a bad idea in itself. And its only saving grace being that he gave her some time to prepare to throw them out. So, why do I basically hate everything about it? First, it implies a lack of trust. Of course, it's normal to be worried. When I found out about my friend's knife addiction, his cell-phone issues, and his knife collection, I also was worried myself and was wondering if it's that good for him to have it. It was his brother that helped me get a better understanding of it, and that we should trust him with his knife collection. And just demanding to throw it away is just being controlling of this person, whether you're trying to be or not. They need to be able to have this conversation with you. Yuri, in this case, needs a safe space like that. And with this action, he somewhat showed that he isn't a safe space for her, because he seemingly doesn't trust her to try. She expressed that she wanted to try stopping it, but he seemingly does not trust her enough for her to have the knife collection. His demand implies that he doesn't trust her to take care of herself, and that he doesn't trust her to talk to him about it, which is his own fault. With decisions like this, he's basically setting up the idea for her that he, in fact, isn't a safe place to discuss her self-harm all that well. At least if we're talking about actual people who both like knives and are self-harmers. I have permission to talk about my friend here, so I will do that sometimes. Second, he's disrespecting her likes and also narrowing them down to her being a cutter. In the main game, she states she doesn't know why she likes them, although it might be related to the craftsmanship and the feeling of danger. If the latter part feels like weird to you, then just remember that people want to dive with sharks and go bungee jumping. All of these are also dangerous, but it gives them some type of excitement or thrill. In their case, probably the adrenaline. In her poem, The Raccoon, the first few lines imply she already had an interest in knives or even the knife collection before cutting. She slowly got curious and eventually gave into the urge. From what we can tell, her liking towards knives and her addiction to self-harm aren't directly related to one another. The friend with the knife collection discovered his general interest in knives while self-harming, but they're two separate feelings. His liking towards knives is no problem at all. It actually is more just like a hobby. He cleans them, he talks to them, as weird as it might sound to some of you, and he stares at them. And he also does not generally harm himself of most, and especially not while engaging in taking care of them. A bunch of years ago, his grandparents attempted to remove the knives, and he obliged, but it simply led to a much worse, a very extreme relapse, and those are where the majority of his injuries came from, his long-lasting injuries. And ironically, he never used knives while making these severe injuries. I will say something about that in a moment. In the end, even though they clearly meant well, they just took away one of his hobbies without actually eliminating any risks. I would say it's the same here. Limiting her interest towards knives down to her addiction of self-harm is quite insulting, and even though the mod tries not to do this, it limits the individual, in this case Yuri, down to her addiction and self-harm, because it implies that she could only ever like them in relation to the self-harm. Which, like I said, in the main game appears to not exactly be the case. And due to that, it's like just taking away a hobby which actually could be used to try and help her get a hang of the problem. To get along with all of this, there's the third point. Instead of trying to understand her feelings and working with her, he seemingly just wants to go in an easy way, which this isn't. It isn't an actual way. It's an addiction. Temptation will be everywhere. That's what I meant with the comparison to the alcoholism, and that she will cut herself no matter what. It will be a gradual process to let go of this addiction. Just now she doesn't have the comfort of her knives when she gives up her collection. And she will still continue to self-harm without her knife collection. And that's probably much more dangerous and increases the risk of damage next time she does self-harm, because she doesn't have this comfort of the knives anymore. It would be, like I said, better to work with her to battle the temptation, which can be done with the knife collection present, and actually might be an easier way to start battling the problem. It might actually help to find a way to engage with a knife collection without the immediate risk of self-harm, and it might be a good start. However, that idea requires trust. Trust he seemingly lacks, like I said. And finally, it's just a general misunderstanding of addiction. I brought it up many times, so I won't go into too much, but the problem of temptation will not be resolved long term. His idea, I get the idea of removing something that could be dangerous, but she will remain in about the same amount of danger as before, now without the safety of her knowing what she can do with these knives. AKA, with other objects she might not be as experienced, it might actually be more prone to doing even worse damage. She might reluctantly agree to his demand, but it honestly felt like manipulation from DMC. Unintentional, but manipulation nonetheless. He's basically pressuring her as a loved one, and he's claiming that this is like the best way to change, and she wants to change, so she feels like she should do it. But it's not necessarily the best way. My friend with his knife collection, he's been making progress, and his connection is larger than ever before. Frankly, the hobby seems to be helping him, especially since we're so open to talking about the topic. So what would I recommend also in relation to the knife collection? First, there should be more open communication. Talk about the knife collection as more than just something to self-harm. Talk about the ideas on how to engage with it safely. Talk about how she can be open to share when she feels like doing it or has done it again. When there's open communication about the topic, it will be easier to confront it. While removing any blades will do little to no good, there are other means. All of them will not be effective immediately, but they're probably a better step. Frankly, trying to confront a professional can be the first step, but Yuri doesn't seem to be far enough to try to throw away something she cares about so much about, and I don't feel like she should, especially if she does start to get better and it isn't related to her self-harm, she just threw out something that might help. It will always be a gradual process. At the beginning, for at least for us, it's important that there is harm reduction. She should always have medical supplies nearby to aid injury, and when it's too extreme, she should feel safe to get medical help or help from friends who help her, take care of the injuries. At best, without needing to feel like she's going to be hospitalized immediately and treated, from personal experience, not very well there. Her knives should be sharp and clean, as inconvenient as it might sound to you. That will avoid infection. And they should also work on making sure that she doesn't cut too deep. If there's open communication, she might reveal times where she feels like doing it. Or she might confront him before she's doing it so that he can help her try to calm down or something like that. Since in her case it appears to be mainly led by intense emotions. If he knows that, he can also make sure to check on her injuries and make sure that it isn't too much of a problem. Regulation was the first step to betterment for most of my friends. And of course I'm still struggling, but there is improvement, including those where we never took any of their self-harm means away. Not to mention the person with the knife collection basically can self-harm with anything. Generally anyone could if they really need to get it out. And given the fact that in Yuri's case it's an endorphin rush that appears to be the cause of addiction to it, there will be other, more worse means she can find a way to activate that endorphin rush. After regulation, which there are also multiple ways to achieve that, for example, as weird as it might sound to you, the brother of the guy with the knife collection sometimes watches him with the self-harm to ensure that he doesn't do too much damage, and it's regulated. And then I take care that it's clean, it's all safe, and there isn't too much blood lost. And yes, he is improving, especially due to the fact that there is someone who is helping him in those moments as well, without there being any shame of the fact that he probably would do it later on and much worse if he was currently being held back on these feelings. After regulation, of course, you also need to try to work on helping them stop, and there are also multiple ways which are completely dependent on the reason and the feeling during it of each individual. Because everyone does it for different reasons and has different feelings during it. For example, the person with the knife collection struggles with self-hatred. And due to that, one of the main things to worry about is to try and help make sure that he knows that he isn't deserving of the pain that he gets from self-harming. And yes, we've went to therapy and it sucked, so please don't recommend it in the nearby future. We're trying to look at other things as well. Another friend did it because he was trying to distance his body from his abuse, if you understand what I mean. Basically, when he cut himself, he felt like he was cutting away the disgusting parts that were touched by his abuser. We're currently making progress after we finally found out that he might have an interest in a tattoo. And he's been working really hard to not harm himself as much, so that by the time he turns 18, he's 16 at the time, he doesn't have any open wounds and can get the tattoo, which also will basically change the feeling of his body. At least that's what he thinks it will do. And the tattoo isn't as dangerous as self-harm, so we're supporting him in that. Bottom line, I don't think taking away her collection is good. The temptation will remain and simply shift to other things. Like, oh, I accidentally broke something. There is a shard. I can cut myself with that now, and it's probably even less less clean than the knife, and will probably cause infection more likely. What little positive there is overthrown by the negatives, by far. It's not the only way for it to improve, and not necessarily good. Frankly, improvement is just as far away as before. Just now there is an implied lack of trust, a lack of communication, a higher risk of extreme relapse, and also a potentially, if worked on, helpful hobby is now no longer present. I wouldn't mind if the mod pointed out somewhere that this wasn't really a good idea, because it really is not. But I finished the mod, and aside from a mention of a lack of trust, the MC is never called out for this. Regret this name choice. And another few days pass. I rub my eyes away. Awake. That makes I'm going to blow my nose. Problem is, I'm using a headset. I don't have a good microphone, and so I'm basically blowing into you very heavily too. Hope it's fine. Ugh. It sucks having no eyes. I look over to my left to see Yuri sleeping. How you have no eyes anymore? We've been continuing our dates, reading at each other's houses. I unplug my phone from the charger and check the time. Oh my god, Yuri, wake up! I grab her shoulder and slightly shake her. Oh no, did I sleep in? I need to put on my teeth. Okay, I was very confused for a moment. I need to put on my teeth, brush my pants. Yuri starts to furiously get out of bed. No, no, Yuri, we still have a lot of time. She calms down a bit. Then why did you sound like something urgent happened? Because I showed the calendar on my phone. Today is the last day of school. During the holiday season, we get a couple weeks off from school. A bashful smile appears on her face. That's fantastic. Come on, you can get dressed in the bedroom. I finished my routine a lot earlier than Yuri, so I decided to start making breakfast. Seriously, what is it with girls taking forever to get ready? I don't know. I mean, with those that apply makeup, I get it. Because makeup is a lot. I've seen some people apply makeup for the day, and some of it is like, it looks so subtle, but in actuality it can take forever to put on. In general, maybe they get... I know when I take longer to dress, I usually get distracted by something. This has been a problem with like sleeping recently for me. Like I'm ready to go to bed, but instead I pace around my room thinking about whatever. What to make? Have you got milk, or are we going to have orange juice cereals again? Open the fridge and grab an unopened pack of bacon strips. No, we have bacon strips. Nice. Hopefully I have eggs as well. Bingo! I grab the egg carton and open it. There's still about half a dozen eggs left. Sorry, that's more than enough. I start the stove and begin cracking the eggs. He walks into the kitchen. That smells very pleasant, John. Sounds like you're in a good mood. Of course. No school's a dream for me. I have more time to read, learn new things, and I don't have to worry about human interaction. I noticeably pause. Yuri doesn't notice, and I continue cooking. Are you saying you're not going to spend time with me over the break? Oh, I didn't mean! You keep falling for my sarcasm, Yuri. I figured a smart girl like you would catch on. Nah. Like, even if you're, like, especially with people who, like, aren't, good at social interaction, I don't think sarcasm is easy for everyone. You would think. What was that? Are the eggs ready yet? I look down to see my breakfast burning. Oh shit, I quickly snatched the spatula and scoop the eggs and baking onto plates. I bring the plates into the counter and take a seat. Yuri, you've been served. Thank you, John. I wish my nose wasn't so stuffed because I do like doing the oof-oof-oo laugh. I don't know why though. Oh. Thank you, John. Perhaps I should try to start a conversation. Do you have any plans for the break, Yuri, besides reading? Well, not really. Well, you're always welcome to spend time with me. Are you sure? I mean, we've already spent the past month together. Without school, we can have even more time. Well, I would really like that. She gives me a soft smile. I check the time. Ooh, we should probably start heading out now. We don't want to be late for the last day. I grab our plates and put them in the sink. You and I head outside and start to walk to school. Again! We arrive at the courtyard. Our first classes are at different sides of the school. We say our goodbyes and head off to our respective classrooms. Class is still boring as ever. Negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Yeah, I'm never going to use that in my entire life. As a musician, probably not. So long, math. The school bus snaps me out of my daze. Time to walk Yuri home. I sling my backpack over my shoulder and head for the door. Oof! I accidentally bump into someone. Natsuki? This is awkward. Hey. It's for horses. Can you be serious for once? Alright, sorry. So I take it went well, with Yuri. What makes you say that? I say you tend a good yard. Oh. The yard went well? Good. I don't know if Natsuki knows about Yuri's cutting, so I refrain from mentioning it. How did it go with you? I went home and went to bed. This conversation is going nowhere. Natsuki, wait. I wanted to talk about that today. I don't like where this is going. I may have accidentally given you too much information about my home life. Natsuki, it's fine. I understand if your parents are going through some financial problems. Parent. Oh. I'm sorry, I didn't... Look, just shut up and let me get this off my chest. I just need to vent to someone. And why me? Because you're the only person dumb enough to listen. Fair enough. Alright, continue then. As I was saying, this next part pertains to you. Uh-oh. A lot of people see my dad as some abusive monster, but he's not. He just struggles with saving money. He has his bursts of anger and he tries hard to maintain himself. He's been taking medication to keep himself stable, but even those cost money. So, we decided it's best if I don't live with him. What I'm hearing breaks my heart. In Act 2, I'm not too sure about that. But in Act 1? Possibly. It must be hard to have to part with someone you've known all your life. Aside from... Actually, the financial part doesn't make sense in Act 1. She isn't shown to be, like, starved or struggling with money in Act 1. Only in Act 2 it appears to suddenly be the case. Wait, Natsuki, how does this pertain to me? You wanna stay at my house? Natsuki composes herself. I knew you were a stalker. I roll my eyes at her. Natsuki switches back to her serious mode again after her quick remark. Well, I was wondering if you could ask Sayori if I could live with her. Considering the last time I talked to Sayori, I don't think I could do that. I don't know. You're neighbors, aren't you? Can't you just drop by her house on your way home? I think to myself. On one hand, Sayori never wants to see me again. But on the other hand, I don't want Natsuki to be homeless. Well, that's an interesting turn of events. But on my third hand, I wanted to walk Yuri home. Why can't you just walk home with Natsuki? Maybe they got on. On the fourth hand, it'd be morally wrong for me to let Natsuki be homeless. I have to do what's right. Alright. I'll ask. Thanks. I guess the conversation's over. Well, I'll go do that now. Yeah. I walk out of the classroom. Once I turn the corner, I make a mad dash for the gates. I hope I'm not late. I arrive at the gate, but there's no sign of Yuri. I pulled my phone to call her, but please she's already sent me a text. In a second, I tried to wait, but I needed to get home early. I'm very sorry. I'll see you tomorrow. Damn it! I lean against the bricks that make up the campus walls. Interesting. Why did she need to? Wait, we'll see. I lean against the bricks that make up the campus walls, yeah. I'm disappointed I couldn't see Yuri today. Oh well, at least I'll see her tomorrow, let's hope. I make my lonely trek home. I sing to myself to keep my sadness away. So this one wants to become like a musician. My shadow is the only one that walks beside me. Oh. I step in front of Sayori's house. Ohayo, Sayori! Here goes nothing. I attempt to take a step, but my feet are pinned to the ground. I'm frozen in the sidewalk. Come on, I can do this. I forcefully move my legs to the door. I feel like this music is a bit unfitting given the situation. Like, in DDC it made sense that there might sometimes be a bit cheery music during moments where it's unfitting to add to the psychological horror effect, but I don't know, here, I don't know if that's really the goal here. Each step feels like I'm trudging through a snowstorm. I make my way to the door. The 3-hard knock, Sayori opens the door. Hey. Sayori looks bothered. Sayori, don't say anything! Please just don't say anything. I understand why this is happening! Why me? Sayori, I'm sorry I came, but I need to talk to you. You shouldn't be sorry. It's not your fault I'm like this. I was selfish. I'm just so selfish. I'm sorry, John, I can't do this. She goes to slam the door. The door swings forward, and before I can think of anything, I instinctively place my hand in the doorway. The door crushes onto my fingers. John! My fingers begin to throb, but what's important is that I prevented Sayori from shutting me out. I'm so sorry. She looks like she's about to cry. Sayori, just listen to me. I begin to tell Sayori everything about my encounter with Natsuki. About Natsuki's situation with her dad and her needing a place to live. I have trouble looking her in the eyes as I speak. It doesn't look like she's even listening at all. She may have tuned me out. But eventually she speaks up. Okay. Okay? That's it? So there's also a place where she can feel safe. Tell her she can live with me. My heart becomes a little lighter. Thank you so much. I'll tell her as soon as I can. Sayori doesn't say another word. For a moment she just stands there staring at me. Her blue eyes glisten and she slowly closes the door. And once again I'm left alone. I guess I might as well catch up on some TV shows before bed. On some anime. The hours went by quickly. The moonlight from my window tells me it's already nighttime. I feel bad for not getting to see her today, but hopefully I can make it up to her tomorrow. I'm just concerned what happened. I am glad that I was able to help out Natsuki, however. I still feel sick after the look Sayori gave me, but maybe this is a good thing. Maybe Natsuki can help Sayori with her depression, something that I failed to do. That's what you're... I'll just consider the MC not good at handling mental health issues. Because if it tries to tell me that this is a good way to think about such situations, then I am not with him. I groggily head upstairs and go to sleep. Let's see. Awaken in the sanctity of my blankets. Once again, it sucks to know the word but not know how to say it. The first day of break, when every student doesn't have a care in the world. That depends. Like, even when I'm preparing for something, like, even if there's, like, a longer period of time where I don't have to do something, I like to plan ahead so much. I probably have something planned. I take a moment to just stare at my ceiling, the morning glow peeking through my blinds. I can't help but have a smile on my face. I have a strong feeling today will be a good day. Hopefully I'm right. After enjoying the feeling of naturally waking up, I climb out of bed. I do my morning stretches and head to the bathroom. As I'm eating breakfast, I decide to call Yuri. Answer. Hello. Good morning, Yuri. Good morning, John. Despite still being fairly early, Yuri's voice shows no sign of tiredness. Well, mine maybe does. She must be a morning person. Sounds like you slept well. That I did. Your pause is just long enough for me to speak up. Hey, I'm sorry about yesterday. I got caught up in something after class. I tried to get out, but it was John. It's okay. I'm sure he had a good reason. Plus, I could never be mad at you. I begin to blush. Well, in that case, I wanted to ask you something. Okay, ask away. Well, I thought that we could what? I feel Yuri knows what I'm going to ask her, but rather than sparing me from my fear, she just decides to tease the question asked. Did you come over today? Perhaps we can watch a movie or something. There's a moment of silence as Yuri ponders the question. I'd love to. Really? Of course. I'll be there in about an hour, that's okay. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. I'll see you then. Bye-bye, John. Bye. I hang up the phone. I bump my fist in excitement before realizing. I pump my fist in excitement before realizing. What are we going to do? I told Yuri we would watch a movie. I need to get my head out of my ass. It's just two friends of opposite genders alone in a house. Yeah. In my friendship group, that's very common, actually. Not too long ago, I had a guy friend over at my house. And we slept next to each other. Wow. Damn it. Alright, I need to calm down. Yes, you do. And once again, I regret my name choice. Because I associate John with someone. And this is very unfitting. You and I have spent a lot of time together. We shared a kiss. Hell, we even slept in the same bed. It was a very big bed though, but the same bed nonetheless. So why do I feel so different? It feels as if our relationship has grown in some way. I'm very anxious. I know some mods have like not safe for work content, and I'm not really a fan of that sort of thing. But the implications here sometimes make me worry that this might be a mod that includes it. Well, if, then I might have to censor a few things, but generally I'm sure I can leave a lot in. But I might speak weirdly during those parts. Weirder than all that is. I no longer see Yuri as the girl she presents herself as. To me, she's no longer that shy girl who steers away from anyone who talks to her. She's just a normal girl. Sure, she still needs help and we still need to get rid of her knife collection. You don't have to. But my mind relaxes as I feel that I've actually made progress. I'm overthinking this, aren't I? I've set up some small snacks and glasses for us so we can watch the movie. You should be arriving any second. Snacks, check. Deodorant, check. The sniff me, given that I'm currently sniffing a lot, is sorry. Clean clothes, check. Movie. Oh, I haven't picked a movie yet. What am I gonna cling? Uh-oh. I get up to answer the door. Well, maybe you can just say that you wanted to choose a movie with her. Oh! In exit music this was... I'm pretty sure Natsuki's house. I open the door. I put on my most inviting smile. Hey! Hello, John. I gestured to her for her to come inside. Thanks for inviting me, John. With my hand in front of my face. Don't worry about it. It's the least I could do for not walking you home yesterday. What a gentleman. I begin to blush as my face grows hot. I swear I turned my AC on. Jesus Christ. I suppose chivalry isn't dead after all. I gesture for her to take a seat on the couch as I walk over to the TV stand. Oh, John, you didn't tell me what we were gonna watch. And there's the question that drives the nail in the coffin. Drives, right? Drives, yeah. Why did I think dive? I'm sorry, what was that? Oh, I just said it'll be a surprise. It'll be a surprise for both of us. Yuri likes horror. Maybe I should do that. Or maybe action. Who does love superhero movies? There are people. Or maybe a romance. Don't be dumb, John. That only works in movies and games. What about a comedy? I'll be able to see Yuri laugh. Or maybe that one movie where everything was a dream. Titanic. Is everything okay? Yeah. Why did I say it like that? Huh? This... This Titanic... Is this a joke? Or am I... As far as I'm concerned, whatever. There's something wrong. At this point I'm starting to sweat. What do I do? Aha! Light bulb. What was that? Interesting idea for his character. I turn and look at her. You have to guess what movie we're watching. I'm not good at guessing. Give it your best shot. Yuri thinks for a moment. But there are so many movies! Like, I haven't watched movies in a while, but if I were to guess, I would just guess children's movies. I got her right where I want her. I've been really wanting to see the movie Misery. There's a movie about the state of Missouri. I read the novel and I have been wanting to compare it to the movie. Oh, Misery by that King dude. Yuri gives me a look of disappointment. Why am I like this? Why are you like this? Sorry about that. I turned back to the TV stand. Please have Misery, please have Misery, please have Misery! I look in the back where I stored the movies my parents used to own. All of a sudden I spot it. You're a good guesser, Yuri. Huh? I turn around and present the case to her. Her lavender eyes brighten up and reflect the sunlight seeping from the window. Oh, she jumps barefoot as if she can't believe she guessed it right. What I just did, the reason why it was calm for a moment is because I know Misery by that King dude is like definitely the actual book, so I wanted to see if there's also Infinite Isolation because it generally sounded interesting to me. Truth is, whatever movie she guessed was going to be the one that I picked. And of course luck was involved with whether or not I had the movie on hand. It's what I like to call the one step ahead trick. I pop the disc in a tray and play it, meanwhile Yuri gathers the horse devours on the coffee table. Wait, am I supposed to sit on the couch with Yuri or sit on the other? No question mark. This is a date, correct? I guess I didn't say, but it was heavily implied. Am I overthinking this? John? I snap out of my thoughts and turn to Yuri. Is everything okay? Yeah, everything's fine. I walk to the couch Yuri is sitting on. Is the seat taken? Yuri smiles clearly. For you, not at all. I plop down next to her. Partway through the movie, and Yuri and I have already consumed all the snacks I laid. This movie's pretty good, but I'm having a hard time focusing with Yuri in my view. Why watch a movie about a rider with broken legs when instead I can just stare at Yuri all day? She turns to me slightly. In the book, she cut off his foot. Huh? Oh, it's just pointing out the differences between the novel and the movie. Oh! That came out a bit more unenthusiastically than I wished. This isn't boring for you, is it, John? What? No, I'm really enjoying the movie so far. Yuri grabs the remote and lowers the volume a bit. Then what was the main character's name? What? The main character. What's his name? Ugh. Alright, I know this. Think, John. Come on, baby, what's the name? I don't remember! I recently played like Sheepy a lot. You know, Sheepy, a short adventure, and there was a Thomas. It was a skeleton, but and the creators like also had like Thomas in their names, which is why I'm a bit confused about the Thomas. But you know what? That's just Thomas. Here goes nothing. Thomas? Yuri giggles at my failure. His name is Paul. Paul Sheldon. I knew that. I was just testing to see if you knew that. Yuri suffers a laugh before returning to the movie. I'm going to save it because this is what I chose and I will go with it. Brain blast! Paul. Paul Sheldon. Yuri looks shocked. I'm sorry I doubted you. No problem, Yuri. We both turn back to the screen. I'm assuming this is the same now. Yeah. It's now my chance. She's distracted. I should make my move. Would it be weird if I did? If she's distracted? I would think it's weird. Or would it be weird if I didn't? I mean, we kissed. What's an arm wrap compared to that? Oh, an arm wrap. Well, depends on the person. I maneuver my arm ever so slowly as if it were moving through molasses. I gently place my hand on Yuri's shoulder, over Yuri's shoulder. She does a double take at my arm, then looks at me. Not a single word is spoken. She simply smiles and leans into me. Her head lays softly on my shoulder. I can't help but feel the corners of my mouth rise as well. We continue to finish the movie in a comforting silence. The credits roll. Yuri moves off my arm, which has now fallen asleep. What did you think? It was good. A well thought out and suspenseful story. Sorry. I'm glad I picked it. As am I. Either she didn't catch my ploy or she doesn't want to embarrass me. Although I couldn't help but notice all the differences from the book. Like what? Just saying that I instantly read those lines. Well, to start, here goes off on an incomprehensible tangent about the movie. I try following along, but I can't quite understand what she's saying. I'm too busy staring at the way her eyes reflect the orange sun peeking through the window. Right, John? Uh-oh. Yeah. I completely agree. Yuri stares at me as if I'm one of her bugs. I'm glad you see it my way. I suddenly exhale. Thank God she didn't pry that question any further. You're a bad listener. I suppose I should be going home now. If I wait any longer, I'll have to walk in the dark. That's the safest time, Yuri. Huh? Yuri gives me a confused glance. Because at night, if you get into danger, you can shine a light in the sky and call for Batman. You can't do that during the day. Yuri tries to hold in her laughter, but eventually gives in. I'm serious, John. I have to go. You can't stay the night? I don't even have a change of clothes. But I stopped myself before saying, who said we're going to need clothes? I understand. Yuri stands up. Thank you for today, John. This was a lovely evening. Yuri bends down and places a light kiss on my cheek. She quietly turns and leaves as I notice her cheeks turning bright red. I'm left sitting on the couch with a stupidly large grin on my face. If you told me a year ago I would have a relationship like this, I would have filled out your papers to be taken to the mental asylum. But now I've changed. I feel a lot more confident, like I can take on anything the world throws at me. I guess we'll just have to see where fate takes us. Open my eyes as the sun casts its light on my face. Ugh. The sunlight creates a soft glow. Usually that means there's heavy clouds looming over. We'll most likely get some showers later today. I grab my phone and look at the time. Holy crap, I'm going to be late! Jumping out of the bed, I begin to start my daily routine. Today is Yuri's second appointment with Dr. Langton. Okay, I was already confused, like, it's the next day, shouldn't that be like Sunday anyway? Well, possibly. He was excited to continue working with Yuri and believes that he can really help her. I wonder what she'll say when she tells him about her cuts. You promised me she'd open up about them today. I'll do my best to support her. I continue my trek into the kitchen. Pulling up my phone, I check the time. I don't have a lot of time left. I swipe a cereal bar and then swing open my fridge. Quickly, I remember to buy milk this time. Luckily, did I say luckily? I pour the milk into the bowl and drop the cereal bar inside. Cereal bar? Why isn't it working? All of a sudden realization hits me. Oh. I fished the soggy cereal bar out of the bowl. One day I'm going to have a proper breakfast. I pull out my phone once again and text Yuri. Almost immediately, Yuri responds. Oh, on my way. Okay, I'll be waiting. I'm not sure why Yuri feels it's necessary to type so formally, but I suppose it's a bit cute. I also tend to do that. Well, not always, but I do like proper punctuation and I don't really use shortcuts. Like short ways to type something. Like on my way. I finished my store excuse for a meal and head out the door towards Yuri's house. I walk up and ring the doorbell. He opens the door. Hello, John. Hey, you ready to go? I suppose so. It's okay to be nervous. Just remember, I'll be right next to you the whole entire time. Thank you. I truly appreciate everything you've done for me. My face starts to turn red. Don't mention it. Yuri locks the door and we begin to walk to Dr. Langton's office. We arrive at the psychiatrist's office. Dr. Langton is standing at the door waiting for us. Right on time. It's a pleasure to meet you two again. I once again give him a firm handshake. He turns to Yuri. Hesitantly, Yuri raises a shaky hand. Dr. Langton takes hold of it. Pleasure to meet you again, miss. Shall we begin? I want John to join! Both Dr. Langton and I share looks of shock as Yuri speaks up. I would feel more comfortable if he was with us. The doctor stares at us. He ponders for a moment before deciding to speak. Very well, you two step inside my office. We follow him in. Him? In, yeah, okay. We take a seat on the couch. Well, Yuri, would you like to start by saying anything? Yuri looks over at me and we lock eyes for a few moments. I grab her hand and lightly squeeze it. I want to show you. There's something else I didn't tell you. Dr. Langton stares quizzically at Yuri but doesn't open his mouth. She begins to roll up her sleeve. Yuri begins to tell him everything she told me several days ago. About how she used cutting as a gateway from life and then about how it developed into an addiction. She talks in between sobs while Dr. Langton sits quietly, intently staring at her with a blank yet stern expression. I sit quietly as well, gripping Yuri's hand tightly as she continues her story. I find myself having to hold back tears listening to all this all over again. Eventually she finishes. This is something very serious. Give me a moment. Dr. Langton gets up from his seat and goes to his computer. He begins typing what sounds like an email. A small piece of paper comes out of his printer. He then comes back to us. Here's a prescription for some antidepressants. but if she isn't showing signs of depression, I'm not sure if that's really something you should prescribe yet. Well, of course I'm not a therapist. But after we discussed that she has like social anxiety, and what she described her as just like enjoying an endorphin rush, and she isn't showing exactly signs of depression necessarily. Of course there are a few signs, but those also intertwine with like her social anxiety. So I feel like there should be a bit more thought behind it before you hear, oh, someone has self-harm problems and they experience an addiction due to the endorphin rush. Let's do antidepressants, especially since there are some people who are mentally quite healthy actually and just have formed this addiction to it anyway. Because they maybe tried it and still got addicted to it even though there's anything severe going on in their life. No social anxiety or anything like that. Simply because the endorphin rush was there. So I don't think immediately jumping to antidepressants would be like that well. They're used to suppress different emotions and relax the body. Suppress different emotions. Maybe it's a different kind then? It will help you suppress certain feelings you may get. Is this something? I mean, it's not. I don't know if it's something that there is, but I just think it wasn't used in the case of my friends. There are multiple types. So I'm assuming that this is a different type then. But I don't know if... Well, we'll see how it's gonna go. Yuri takes a slip of paper. Thank you. After answering a few more of our questions, Dr. Landon escorts us out of his office. Thank you for coming today and also for bringing this up to me. And Yuri? He bends down to eye level with her. Everything's going to be okay. He shoots her a big smile, but Yuri continues to stare at him blankly. This day may have been too much for her. Dr. Lincoln walks back into his office. I turn back to Yuri and can see she's visibly shaking. I look at the clock on the wall. Yuri, why don't we go somewhere to relax? We've had a pretty intense day today, wouldn't you say? Okay. You and I take our leave.